Loki. Now, Loki stars Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, and Sophia Di Martino. And basically, this show follows on from the Loki we saw escape with the Tesseract in Avengers Endgame. Basically, after escaping the Tesseract, the Time Variance Authority, also known as the TVA, end up capturing this Loki variant. And basically, they use this Loki variant to capture this other female Loki variant known as Sylvie, played by Sophia Di Martino on the show, as she's trying to take down the TVA. And basically, as the series progresses, this Loki variant and this female Loki variant known as Sylvie end up meeting each other, and basically they end up working together as they try to find who is behind the TVA and who is running the TVA. And basically, long story short, a lot of complications occur on their journey as they try and find out who's behind the TVA, and at the same time though, they also find out what the TVA is really about and who they really are. And that's basically the plot of Loki. And honestly, I really enjoyed the show actually. I enjoyed it far more than I expected, I must admit, and I'm even going to say this, it's my favourite of the Marvel TV shows that have been released, yeah. I must admit, like, I actually prefer over WandaVision, and I prefer over The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because I don't know, I really enjoyed every episode of this show. I mean, I do think it has one big problem, though. As all the Marvel TV shows do, in my opinion, this show also has one big problem, in my opinion. There's no narrative drive that really gets you, you know, pulled into the plot and pulled into the story and really, you know, grabs you along with it and makes you excited to watch this show, you know, when it's released every single week. I never really got excited to watch a new episode of Loki, I must admit. Apart from the last episode, and that's only because we got to find out who the big bad guy was. Apart from the last episode, I never really got excited to watch any episode of Loki, and I think that's one of the problems of the show overall, the fact that there's no narrative drive. There's nothing driving this narrative that really got me excited to see where it was going, and I think that was just a big problem of the show overall, the fact that there is no narrative drive. But saying that though, like I said before, I still enjoyed it. But the thing is though, I didn't love it. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I think that's a problem with this show. And I think that goes down to the whole thing, like I said, to do with the narrative drive. And at the same time though, I also think it's like Marvel's version of Doctor Who. And I'm actually going to compare this season of Loki to the David Tennant era of Doctor Who later on this review, and you'll understand why later on. But anyway, like I said before, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I'm going to get into why I didn't later in this review in more detail, but in order to get into that detail, I will have to get into some spoilers. So if you haven't watched Loki yet, and you're planning to watch Loki, but heck, you just haven't got around to it yet, I do apologise, because I will be getting some spoilers in this review going forward. So here is our last spoiler warning. Spoilers for Loki. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into some spoilers for Loki. First of all, let's talk about the things I really liked about this show. I thought all the performances were great. I really enjoyed Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I've even enjoyed Tom Hiddleston as Loki, by the way, in some of the MCU, you know, films that I'm not particularly fond of. Even like, you know, Thor the Dark World. I still enjoyed his performance in that film, actually. Or even the first Thor, for that matter. You know, even in the Thor films, which I'm not really the biggest fan of, I always enjoyed Tom Hiddleston's performance as Loki. And I enjoyed his performance in this series as well. I actually really enjoyed watching his character. And at the same time, though, one performance which really caught me off guard, but how good it was Owen Wilson. I thought Owen Wilson in the series was absolutely brilliant. Honestly, I really did, because the thing is though, I never thought I'd get a performance like this from Owen Wilson, because I've been watching Owen Wilson quite a lot of Wes Anderson comedies recently, and he's great in those Wes Anderson comedies. I really like his performance in those Wes Anderson films, but the thing is though, his performance in this show is just brilliant in my opinion, and I love the scenes between, you know, Tom Hiddleston's Loki and Owen Wilson's Mobius in the show. I just think those scenes when they have those two characters together are absolutely brilliant, because I love the chemistry between Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, and I just think those scenes where just those two characters talking in like the first couple of episodes are brilliant, and I really love watching Tom Hiddleston as Loki with Owen Wilson as Mobius in the show. And at the same time, I also enjoyed, you know, Gugu Mbatha-Raw in the show. I think she did a good job as well. The Renslayer, the person who's like running the TVA that we know of. And at the same time, though, I also really enjoyed, you know, Sophia Di Martino's performance as, you know, this female Loki, Sylvia. I really enjoyed her performance. I wasn't the biggest fan of her when she first got introduced. What was it, episode 2, I want to say. It might be wrong. It might be episode 3. I wasn't the biggest fan of when she was first introduced. But the thing is, though, as we got further on in the series, I really got into her character, and I really enjoyed her, you know, on-screen chemistry with Tom Hiddleston's Loki as well. I really enjoyed watching Sophia Di Martino's performance as the female Loki, you know, Sylvie as well. And by the way, here's the last spoiler warning before I get into some big spoilers for Loki. Last spoiler warning, another performance I absolutely loved about the show was Richard E. Grant as the older Loki variant. Oh my god, he was absolutely brilliant. He's only really in, what was it, episode 5, which by the way, I thought episode 5 was really a lot of fun, by the way. But the thing is though, he's only really in episode 5. And oh my god, he kind of made episode 5 for me, I must admit. Honestly, when you see him at the end of episode 5, it's like, glorious purpose! And he's using all his Loki power to help, you know, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, and, you know, the female Loki as well, Sylvie, when he's using all his power to help those two characters in that scene, I just had goosebumps. He was that good. Honestly, I love Richard E. Grant, and I love his performance as the older Loki managed to, survive Thanos in this series. I just absolutely love that. I also love the fact that we see multiple, Loki variants in this show. I love the whole thing to have Alligator Loki. That's brilliant in my opinion. I absolutely love that. And I love it got to see other Loki events, which I'm going to get onto a bit later in this video as well. But anyway, moving on to the performances. Another performance I thought was absolutely great was Jonathan Majors in the last episode. Now, I'm not totally sure if Jonathan Majors was playing Kang or Kang before his Kang. Like, if people don't know who Kang is, by the way, I don't really know, because I didn't really grow up reading the comic books. I don't really know who Kang the Conqueror is. All we know that he's going to be in Ant-Man 3. But the thing is, though, the only reason I really know who Kang is because I'm one of those people who follows all this stuff on the internet, and I've been seeing on the internet recently, the Loki show premiering. I've been seeing on the internet, oh my god, is Kang the Conqueror in Loki? Things like that, all these theories on the internet, and it turns out he was, because in the end, Jonathan Majors is confirmed to play Kang in Ant-Man 3, and the thing is, though, Jonathan Majors appeared as, I think it was a version of Kang in the final episode of the show, and I think he was great, by the way. I really enjoyed the performance. I thought he was just fantastic to watch. I love the way he played off the other characters in that scene. Like, same between him and the other two Loki variants, Tom Hiddleston's Loki and Sylvie. I just thought that scene where it's just those three talking was brilliant. And I think Jonathan Majors' performance as Kang before his Kang, or was it Kang when he's Kang? I'm not really sure myself. I thought his performance as Kang in the final episode was absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to see more of that character when we hopefully get to see more in the MCU. I mean, I know it's going to be Ant-Man 3, but hopefully we get to see him in more of the MCU as well. And I thought Jonathan Majors' performance as Kang was great in this last episode. I really liked him. He stole the show from me in the last episode. And at the same time, though, let's move on to some other things I like about the show as well. I really like the whole thing to the Loki variants, like I said before. I thought that was great, because one of the things I actually really liked about the show was the fact that it didn't take itself too seriously. It was kind of silly and kind of fun, and that's one of the things I actually really liked about the show. Like, one of the things I don't really like about WandaVision or the Falcon and Winter Soldier is how serious those shows got to so many times. It's just like, in the end, it's a comic book movie. This is the same universe where Groot exists in the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the same universe we got the wacky stuff, multiverse is happening, and then you get some like the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's just a bit too serious in my opinion. But then, Loki was a pleasant surprise because it didn't take itself too seriously. I sat there with a huge grin on my face for so many episodes because it wasn't taking itself too seriously. It's kind of playing on what it is itself. The whole show is kind of playing on its own identity. It was having multiple Lokis in the episode 5, or the post-credits in episode 4, that's when they're first introduced. The thing is, though, it was having like multiple Lokis in there, having Alligator Loki, which, by the way, reminded me of Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. The fact that in Guardians of the Galaxy, we basically get a tree as a character, and then it becomes one of the best characters of that film, by the way. I just love when Marvel does things like that, where they don't take themselves too seriously, and they do films like Guardians of the Galaxy, which, by the way, are my favourite Marvel films. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy films. I've said that a million times on the channel, but I do. But things though, I like things like that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when they do kind of silly things, but then you have like Groot, and you have like Alligator Loki. I really like that about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm happy they did that in this show as well. And I really like the idea of the whole Loki events, because it kind of playing on the show's identity in a great way, in my opinion. And at the same time, though, I also thought the finale of the show was actually really, really good. I preferred this finale over, the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale and WandaVision finale, because the reason I like this finale so much is because of this. There was no big CGI fights. Even at the end of WandaVision, which I didn't think there was going to be a big CGI fight, there was. And at the end of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I expected there to be, there was another big CGI fight. There wasn't at the end of this. There wasn't at the end of this show, which is what I really liked about it. I mean, there was a fight sequence in there, which was really well done in my opinion, between Sylvie and Tom Hiddleston's Loki. But the thing is, though, there was no big CGI fight, and instead the big climax of the show was a conversation between three characters. A conversation between Kang, Loki, and Sylvie. And that's what I really liked about the show. The fact that it just didn't go for the big, generic, stereotypical Marvel ending. It instead did something different, which it brought a huge smile to my face. And honestly, I was glued to the screen when it was just that conversation between those three characters. Just learning about, Kang before it's Kang, or maybe it is Kang, I'm not really sure, to be honest. And hopefully they'll explain that in Loki Season 2. But I just really enjoyed watching those three characters talk to each other as the big climax of the show. I thought that was great. Maybe they were planning to go for a big CGI fight at the end, but because of COVID, and I did actually learn that this series actually was shot over the pandemic, so maybe they were planning a big CGI fight in the end, but in the end they went for this a bit more toned down ending, and actually maybe that worked in their favour, in my opinion. I liked that the finale of the series was different than the finale of the Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision. At the same time, though, I also think the show is well made, considering, like I said before, it was made during the pandemic. I think it's a very well made show, and I think the show is probably the most visually distinctive of any of the Marvel TV shows yet as well. I'm like, oh my god, the visuals in the show are absolutely brilliant in my opinion, and some of the visuals are so beautiful to watch, especially towards the end of the show, I must admit. And at the same time, I thought episodes 4 through to 6 were the best episodes of the show in my opinion. I still enjoyed episodes 1 through 3, but the thing is though, episodes 4 through 6, I really liked. And the thing is though, I enjoyed the show as a whole. I enjoyed watching every single episode. Even though, like I said, episode 3, which, people weren't the biggest fan of, that's what I kind of got the idea of. People didn't love episode 3. I personally still enjoyed watching it. I did. I mean, it was a filler episode in the end, but it was a fun filler episode in my opinion. And just, I liked watching the show as a whole. Some episodes are better than others going to get with any show, and I did prefer watching, episodes 4 through 6 over 1 through 3, but I still enjoyed watching the show as a whole, and I do think it has a lot of things going for it. But at the same time though, like I said before, I do think it has that one big problem. There's no narrative drive in my opinion that really got me excited and on the edge of my seat and counted down the minutes to when I get to watch the next episode of Loki. And I think that was a problem with the series overall. The fact that there was no narrative drive. I didn't really feel there was anyway. And the fact that every single week when I sat down to watch Loki, I was like, oh, that was an enjoyable episode. But I wanted a bit more than just have that feeling, okay, that was enjoyable, but it could have been better. That's how I felt at the end of every single episode of Loki. I mean, apart from the last episode, I actually quite liked the last episode quite a lot, because it did a climax sequence, but not in the way I expected, which actually was smart to my face. But the thing is though, you get my point. I just wanted a bit more of a narrative drive, which really got me sucked into the show, and really got me like, oh, what's going to happen next week? I can't wait now. But the thing is, in the end, I didn't get that. And the thing is though, like other TV shows, like Mandalorian Season 2, I got so excited to watch every single episode of Mandalorian Season 2 when it aired back in December last year. Honestly, I just got so excited to watch every single episode, because there was a narrative drive in Mandalorian Season 2 that I just didn't get personally in Loki. And at the same time though, I do think some of the writing in the show is a bit weird, and I do think there are some missed opportunities, specifically when we meet the President Loki variant in episode 5, because the President Loki variant was this big marketing tool for the show. We see him at the end of the first trailer for the show, and then we're like, oh my god, Loki becomes the president in the show? How does that work? And then, in the end, the President Loki variant is just like a 3-minute skit in episode 5, which really amounts to nothing. And it just, there's some weird writing like that in the show, which I'm not the biggest fan of. At the same time, though, I wish I loved this show, I really do. And here is why I'm going to compare to David Tennant's Doctor Who. The thing is with David Tennant's Doctor Who, I absolutely love David Tennant's Doctor Who. But the thing is, though, I only really got into his era as Doctor Who towards the end of his era, when his episodes started to get absolutely fantastic, when all the characters started to come together, and all the dialogues started to come together, and all the Cybermen stuff started to come together towards the end of the David Tennant Doctor Who era. And the thing is though, at the start of the David Tennant Doctor Who era, I didn't think the episodes were great. I still really enjoyed the start of the David Tennant Doctor Who era, but I just didn't really get into it till later on when he was a doctor, till later on the series when had Martha and you had Don and stuff like that. That's when I really got into the David Tennant Doctor Who era. And hopefully the same thing happens with Loki. Hopefully, at the moment I think Loki's good. Like I thought the early stages of the David Tennant Doctor Who era were good. Hopefully I'll come and maybe Loki Season 2 will be great. And hopefully it'll be like the later stages of the David Tennant Doctor Who era. And hopefully I feel a sense of excitement when watching every single episode of Loki Season 2, and hopefully I do. But the thing is though, for now, I just think it's good, and I want to love it, but I just don't, and it just disappoints me in that. I still really enjoyed it, I think it's a lot of fun, and I also personally think it's the best TV show Marvel have put out yet. But at the same time though, I miss that narrative drive to this show, and like I said before, maybe it is like the David Tennant Doctor Who era. Maybe like I had with the David Tennant Doctor Who era. Maybe I'm enjoying the first episodes, and maybe when we get Loki Season 2 or even Loki Season 3, who knows by the way, maybe when we get the later Loki seasons or the later Loki episodes, maybe I get more and more into the show. But the thing is though, for now, I like it, but I just don't love it, and I wish I did. But at the same time though, I'm happy I enjoy it, and that's what I take from this show. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Loki, I'm going to say it's a 7.5 out of 10. Honestly, like I said before, it's my favourite Marvel TV show I've seen yet, and I did enjoy it. I wanted to love it. I wanted to sit back at every single episode and go, ooh, what an episode of TV. And I never felt that. And that's maybe because I personally don't feel that Marvel has really grasped on what makes good TV yet. I don't think Marvel has really got TV right yet. I mean, I must admit, I don't actually think that Marvel got films right yet, but that's another matter entirely. But the thing is though, I don't think Marvel has really got TV right yet. I don't think they got the mysteries right yet. People are guessing who's behind these big mysteries in the shows like WandaVision and, this show. before we even get to the second episode. And I just think that's a problem with the show overall. The fact that people knew who the big bad guy was going to be after the first episode. Literally hours after the first episode, people guessed who the big bad guy was going to be. And that's a problem with Marvel TV shows at the moment, because people just study them because they want to find out all these secrets and all these Easter eggs and everything. But then in the end, like I said before, they find out who the big bad guy is hours after they've seen the first episode. And I just think that's a problem with Marvel TV shows overall. Like, they haven't really got a grasp on what makes a good TV show yet. There hasn't really been a fantastic narrative drive in any of their TV shows, in my opinion. A lot of people might say WandaVision there. I heavily disagree. Go and check out my WandaVision review if you want to understand why. But the thing is, though, I just wish I loved the series. I really do, because I really like Tom Hiddleston's Loki. Although I do feel he was a bit misused in the show, I must admit. I do feel they could have done more of that character, but I still really like that character. I'm excited to see where it goes in the future MCU projects. Or should I say, Loki Season 2. Looking forward to that very, very much. But the thing is, though, I'm not eagerly awaiting Loki Season 2. I'm excited to see it, but at the same time, though, I want to be more excited to see it, and I think that's a problem with the show overall. I still enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to Loki Season 2, but the thing is, though, I want to love this show, and I might feel like a bit of a broken record there, but honestly, it kind of pains me to say that I just liked it, because in the end, this show had so much potential, and it did get to that potential in some parts, but at the same time, though, I wish I enjoyed it more. But I did enjoy every single episode, just not as much as I wanted to. So all in all, I like it, but I don't love it. And that's the last time I'm going to repeat that phrase in this review, because I said it far too much. And so all in all, I'm going to say that Loki is a 7.5 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Loki? Please do comment down below and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like and subscribe on this video. I look forward to many more both film and TV reviews come very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon, but bye for now, bye!